This particular supplement is just talking about these little rings that I have on the bobbins. A lot of people have seen these in the videos. I've had a few people ask me about them and what they are and how they came about. What they are is basically a little thread keeper. A number of years ago, when I was teaching a lot of classes, I had one of those foam Renzetti tool caddies. Had the backside of it just full of different bobbins with different threads in them and everything. Problem is that when the thread is like this and you put it down into those little holes and you get 2 or 3 of these like this and you put them all down in there, the threads up this way, it gets tangled in with other tools and other things. So what I found is that even if you have the thread short like this, you go pulling it out, and next thing you know, it's pulling another bobbin, or it's pulling out your bodkin or your scissors or something else. And it just was a recurring problem. And this was a number of years ago. I think it was either Hairline, maybe Wapsi came out with a little package of rings that you could put onto your bobbin like this as a thread keeper. The idea for those was that you had your bobbin was like this, let's just say, or let me get a regular old bobbin like this. And when you were done tying, you would shorten your thread up like this, double it over, and you would just pop one of those little rings right on top like this. So the thread was actually trapped underneath the ring. I didn't like doing it that way too much, simply because when you go to use it, 1, you still have some of this thread hanging out, and 2, when you go to use it, you have to take the ring off and set it down. And doesn't that get lost somewhere? So I started hunting around and looking for different things, and I actually, was gonna, and again, I had a whole bunch of different bobbins with the different thread in them, so I needed a lot of these for what I was wanting to do, and I ran across this product. They were called Silkies, and I'm hoping that that is in focus. They're basically silicone little O-rings, and they were made by a company that makes Stretch Magic, and I would find them in Hobby Lobby. It would come in a package, and as you can see, they had 2 different sizes. They had a smaller size, and then they had a larger size. The interesting thing is the inner diameter of all of these is about the same. I think the larger one might be a little bit bigger, but the inner diameter is about 2 millimeters. Now, I said that I used to get them at Hobby Lobby. I went recently when somebody else had asked this question, and I went looking for them because I was going to have the little package up here to show you and everything. I couldn't find them, and I don't see them on their site. I've looked around the internet to see if I can find them anywhere. I can't. So I have a stash of them here, but I did look around because I've had other projects in my house and other things, and I've gotten these kits of assortment of different size O-rings and found out that you can easily go out to Amazon and pick up some of these rings. They're generally all black. They're not different colored. So in doing so and prepping for this video, I got my calipers out here, and the idea was to just double check the Renzetti bobbins here have a diameter of about 2.5 millimeters. This is a bigger, it's a different style Renzetti. That one's 3.4 millimeters. And some of these Griffins that I have right here, those are about a 2.5. So I think if you go and search out on Amazon for some 3 millimeter inner diameter, so make that 3 millimeter ID O-rings, O-R-I-N-G, you'll find a whole bunch of stuff out there. For $7 or $8, I think you can get a thing of 100 of them. So there's a whole bunch of them out there. Now, as I mentioned, I didn't like using these O-rings where you just slide the one ring down on it. What I started to do initially was to have 2 rings on it like this. And what I would do when I was done is I would shorten up my thread, and then I would just bring the thread down and hold my finger against the O-rings and then wrap the thread around inside those O-rings. The problem with that is that generally when I'm doing that, my finger would slip and that one ring would fall down like this, and then your thread's loose again. So what I found is that you're better off, clean this up just a little bit, better off with 3 of them. Because with 3 of them, you can very easily bring your thread down, trap it with your finger. If I can do this where you can see it, bring the thread down, wrap it with the finger like this, and then wrap this around a couple times, sliding those up, and it just holds it and it keeps it in place. So now when I put it down in the tool caddy or my bobbin stand or whatever, I have much less thread out here that gets caught on anything. So when I pull those out, I'm not pulling a bunch of tools out. So they've come in very, very handy. These, like I said, they have about a 2mm opening on them. Fairly small. Fits right over that little ant right there. Probably tie some flies with those. Anyway, you know, I have them on all the different bobbins that I have. They fit on multiple different styles of bobbins, whether they're just your standard bobbins, you know, your Renzettis, your Griffins, whichever. Even actually, the funny thing is the Wright bobbins started coming out with these things right about the same time, about 10, 12 years ago. They've got little O-rings right on there as kind of thread keepers. But there's all kinds of bobbins, you know, even this Schmain, interesting little bobbin. They fit right on the throat, and they just help in terms of keeping things a little bit more contained and a little bit neater. So there'll be a description down, or a link in the description down below, out to Amazon for some of these small. I'm sorry, I said 3mm earlier. I meant 2mm. 3mm will work fine on the Renzetti, which is a little wider, but not on the others. They'll slide around. So I will have some links down below for the 2mm inner diameter O-rings, and I hope that helps anybody who is curious about what those little rings on my bobbins are. So thank you very much for watching. Just remember, it's fly tying. You're not having fun. You're doing it wrong.